Hi there, I thought I'd try a little live video today to talk about rescheduling of travel plans. It's something a lot of us are doing as this outbreak coincides with the prime spring break travel season. For most, it's not a big deal. Major airline and hotel chains all are letting you rebook free of charge. But if you have a more complicated trip, things might get a little bit trickier. My husband and I have a trip to the Galapagos Islands, Quito, and a couple of places in Peru scheduled for mid-April of this year. And while we bought trip insurance for the prepaid cruise portion of the trip, it doesn't cover pandemics. Fortunately, the company is working with us to reschedule, but we have the concern that since it's a smaller company, we're just not sure of their ability to remain solvent throughout all of this. We had planned the trip for April specifically because it's a really good time to visit that area, but we're concerned now that if we bump for an entire year and this virus turns out to be seasonal, we're just going to run into the same situation again next year. So we're also considering rebooking dates in the fall. I wanted to share a few tips that might be helpful if you're attempting to reschedule a more complicated trip. These are some of the steps that we're going through ourselves this week as we go through and rebook everything. The first is to make a list of all the people that need to be contacted. For us, that means the cruise company, our international air carriers, the multiple internal air carriers we're using, the Machu Picchu ticket office. Machu Picchu tickets have to be purchased in advance, which we did, and those will need to be rescheduled. Peru Rail, which is the train company that provides transport to Machu Picchu, and of course all our various hotels that we would be using along the way. Next, you want to rebook your most inflexible piece first. For us, that would be the cruise. It has the most limitations in terms of available dates. And then once we get the most inflexible piece reset, you can work everything else around that. If you had travel insurance, you want to contact your provider to see if you can transfer your insurance to your rescheduled trip. I always recommend travel insurance when booking cruises, all-inclusives, or package tours, really anything where you pay the bulk of the cost up front. For more information on that, check out my blog post on nattygal.com by typing travel insurance into the search bar on the site. Our parents are in their 80s, so we always want to be protected if something was to happen to them prior to a trip. You may want to see if they would also allow an upgrade to a cancel for any reason type of insurance, making sure to discuss whether that would cover pandemic or bankruptcy situations. I'm sure they're probably updating a lot of that verbiage as I'm recording this. The travel or the cancel for any reason insurance is much more costly, but it's still a fraction of the prepaid cost that you would be paying and would provide for some reimbursement if the pandemic lingers or if your company defaults in the interim. And then lastly, with any communications, you want to do that in writing or at least ask for a summary of that discussion in writing. This is especially important if you're communicating with agencies that have a different native language than yours. It's easy for things to get misrepresented or misinterpreted, so make sure that you get anything decided upon in writing. Lastly, feel free to contact me if you have any questions that I might be able to address. I look forward to the day when all of us can travel freely again, and hopefully that'll be really, really soon. Thanks so much.